and welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca and it is time for the Sunday WIP and Waffle. I am working on this painting from EYCIIR from Diamond Art Studio UK. So it's called On the Way Home. It is 100 metres. No, not 100 metres, 100 centimetres, 1 metre in length. That would have been a project. And it is 40 centimetres across. So far I have done the bottom. I did this in sections of 2 pieces of cover paper because there is actually quite a few colours in sort of this bottom bit. There's some greens and some browns. The diamonds are very, very shiny, but you get the idea. So there's quite a few colours, and then it goes into a couple of colours of yellow. However, for the next row, I actually took them all off because this bottom part, especially of this painting, is very blocky. Which is great for progress, but if when I first just uncovered sort of 2 sections, which is what I'd done across the bottom, I found that I had lots and lots of bits sort of around this black that do appear on other sections across here, and yeah, we all know that a lot of time is taken tipping diamonds into the tray and then putting them back into the pot, and I like to eliminate that where possible. So I decided to take the whole lot off. I've done all my black and sort of other colours. I did that last night, and I'm now just working across. So I had a very little amount of this pale yellow, which I've done, and I am now on 726 is my next sort of main colour. And I just did 1 pour into my pot last night, is how I call it. So let me zoom you in. I will try and hopefully I'll be able to remember to sort of move across as we go. But I did 1 pour into my pot, into my tray, about this amount, and then I multi-placed everywhere that I could, sort of until, like, you know, a reasonable stopping point, or until my tray wasn't really giving me multi-placing options, because after a while you do end up with sort of lots more little bits floating about. And then I went in and used the rest of the tray up, filling in all my little single bits up here. So I think I'm going to do the same sort of thing. I could, with this painting especially, I could get a mega tray out and tip a load of diamonds in for multi-placing, which I know some people prefer to do, but I like this approach because in my mind it's a little bit more methodical. That sounds like a big word to use today. It's a little bit more methodical in practice, and it means that I am getting these smaller parts mixed in with the bigger parts. Because I could just multi-place all my way across, get all the diamonds down that I can with a multi-placer, but then I would feel as though I was nearly finished, but I would actually have a bucket load of single placing to do because there's still quite a few places that need a single place as the colours sort of mix into each other. So I thought we will just continue in the same way while I go through comments. We'll see how long it takes, and yeah, we'll just plod on through this painting and get some colour on it. It's definitely going to get a lot more bitty when I get very near to the top, but then I will have you know, the drive of it being nearly finished when it gets a lot more confetti orientated. I was tempted to stop then and fill in all my single because I hit a leg, but these are only small bits and I feel like I've only just started multi-placing, so we will get some of this done and then we'll go to single placing and we will move our way across. There is the odd diamond in here that does just have a little nub or something on it, so I'm trying to avoid those, and I will deal with those when I get towards the end of the tray. If I have diamonds that get out of my way. But yeah, this is a 4-placer, this one. Kim actually sent me this one. Absolute love. But it does very often place 5. So I have sneaked my way up to 5 placing in a lot of instances. Sometimes, like these last 2 rows that I've just done, there's actually a row of 6. Sometimes if the area doesn't have a lot of confetti and is just primarily multi-placing, I will do that in either a 4 and a 2 or 2 3s. But because this one has so many single placing that needs to be done where the colours sort of mix together, I'm not bothering. I'm just placing what I can and then I'll, you know, fill in the gaps afterwards. And in fact, I think I am actually going to call it there. I do still have quite a few diamonds in my tray that could be multi-placed, but I have a lot of single placing. I picked a lime green tray to use with this painting and one of our old limited edition pens because I felt like it was perfect for this painting, and I do like to coordinate my trays and pens if I can to my paintings. Sometimes I'll go by, you know, what I'm in the mood for and change it up every time, which I've sort of been doing with my Heaven and Earth design, changing it up a bit each time I do a section. But for this one, I felt like the colours just screamed for a nice, bright, zesty colour scheme. So why not? So yeah, let's go on to comments, etc. First off, I do hope everybody has got amazing plans and is planning on having a great weekend, whatever it is that you're doing. Not quite sure of our plans for this weekend yet, but we'll figure that out. Probably go and visit one of my sister-in-laws. I finished her quilt for her, which you will have seen the video for, I think. I'm pretty sure it's gone up already. Yeah, I finished her quilts a while ago, and as it was ready for us to go and take to her, she actually was on holiday for 2 weeks. So it has been sat waiting. It's not really the weather that she's going to need it, but it'll be nice to take it over and have it go to its new home. In fact, I might visit both sister-in-laws at some point this weekend because my other sister-in-law's quilt I finished last weekend. So we might just go out and do a little round trip to visit hubby's sisters. They all live in the same town, so it's not like we're talking hours away. So yeah, we'll go and visit them. Excuse me. A couple of diamonds that are just stuck together, so I'm just using the lines in my tray and my pen to see if they come apart. They're not really stuck enough that they need me to use my little tub. But Sammy Loon, she says, evening Rebecca. She said yes. She said she had the blood test and it was quick and easy. She says, thank goodness. Oh, good. Hopefully that will ease your mind for future blood test the fact that this one went well, and if there are any in the future, hopefully of course they all go the same way. I feel like I might need a new glue dot in this pen. I think I've been using an old one. See if I can get those to go the right way up. I always like to finish up a tray before I tip any more in. More often than not, occasionally I will tip some more in, but more often than not I like to sort of finish up a tray, get rid of any potential trash, rather than pulling it out of the tray as we go along. And I've just got one more that's stuck together that's a little bit stubborn, so I'll just use my nails to pry them apart. She says she honestly can't wait, she says, for her children to go back to school. Gotta love end of term holidays where they get 2 weeks, sometimes 2 weeks and an extra day, and they end up, of course, full of energy, hyped up on chocolate and sugar because it's Easter, and can sometimes drive the parents doolally. But she says, yeah, they're driving me and Daddy crazy. She says, luckily, she says, this weekend, Nanny is taking one of them for Easter, and they go back on the Tuesday. She says, and thank you, she says, for sharing France's Mother's Day. More than happy. There are a few Mother's Days in the year. Maybe we should just all adopt all of them and just say that they're all for us too, because why not? We can always make use of an extra day, can we not? Even if it's only in our heads. We'll just make use of the extra days and claim them as our own. Right, I like to get all those ones that are sort of tucked in, and then get some of these random ones up here. Mysterious Days, she says, hi Rebecca and Zesties. She says, today was her driving lesson, she said, and it went miles better than she thought it would. That's fantastic news. So we've had a blood test that's gone better and a driving lesson that's gone better, which is good news. Spring freshness is on the up. Oh, that's actually got a knob on it. Let's get rid of that one. She says she is so incredibly proud of herself. She says, which is crazy to say. She says because she doesn't like gloating about things, which I get. But I think sometimes we should definitely do it more, even if it's just to ourselves. You know, just saying that you're proud of yourself for what you've accomplished. I do often think we should do that. And I don't think it's gloating if you say it in your own head. Just like, you know, sometimes murder isn't murder if you say it in your own head. Yeah, because, you know, sometimes you do say in your own head that you've had enough of somebody or somebody's particular mood. It doesn't mean you would ever do it. So I think in your own head it can be a little bit different. Right, I have decided before I refill my tray, I did get my putty looking nice before I started this, but I didn't remember that my single placer needed a little bit of attention. So let's put a fresh glue dot in there, and now I get to tip out another batch. And what I think I'm going to do is I am actually going to finish all this single placing in these two sections that I've done all the multi-placing before I move over. Because, say, there is a fair amount where the sort of colours mingle into each other. So it keeps it busy, stops the picture looking blocky, which of course we don't necessarily want. She also says, the driving instructor was so cool and calm, which made her be able to focus. She says she was behind the wheel for about 1.5 hours and worked on turning, parallel parking. I hate parallel parking. And she even drove herself home. She says, granted, she says she needs to work on processing what she's doing before she does it. She says looking before she goes and signalling turns way more. She says, but this is leagues ahead, and she can see herself one day actually getting her driving license. She says she still has 8 more hours and scheduled another 2-hour lesson on the 29th of April. That is fantastic news. Quite often with learning to drive and all that jazz, the hardest thing is finding an instructor that works for you. And it doesn't mean that all driving instructors, you know, or there's a load of bad driving instructors out there. There aren't. But I think the understanding that even if you have a driving instructor that's been highly recommended by somebody else, doesn't necessarily mean they work for you. You need to have one that's sort of, and sometimes you don't even know what you're looking for with it until you actually have a lesson with them. But yeah, you just, if you have a personality that just clicks and allows you to learn, and, you know, in your case is, you know, calm and allows you to focus and all the rest of it, that can be absolutely perfect and just what you need. And it was actually my final driving instructor before I passed my test that turned out to be right for me. And yeah, it was miles better than any other driving instructors I had used in the past. So yeah, that's always a good thing, and I'm so happy you found a driving instructor that works for you and your way of learning. She says, granted, she says she was nervous and tense. She says, but she didn't cry, which is always a bonus. And you're going to be less nervous and tense next time because you're not now going into the unknown. You're going into the known with a driving instructor that's worked for you. So you will find probably lessons get better and better. Okay, my pen decided to drop one of my diamonds on the way then, which it does every now and then, and I just have to deal with it. She says she didn't cry when she came home. She said to see her mum's beaming smile as she pulled up, she said it made her year, which is fantastic. You could not have asked for anything better, and I'm so happy that it's gone well for you. She says they ended up ordering dinner, and she got to buy her Minecraft for her Nintendo Switch as a reward. Gotta love a good reward too. Good reward system. She says tonight after diamond painting, she says she's going to play Minecraft with her bestie and chill. Yes, and now you can look forward to your next driving lesson rather than dreading it coming, because you now know it will be so much better and you can concentrate on what it is that you need to learn rather than fretting over it all, which is good. Which is also a big fat plus. Right. Have we got, so I think I've got them all in that section, so I think I'm actually going to switch and single place and do it in sort of little blocks. I think it will work better for my methodical approach, bringing out that big word again. Irene says, my paint gem, she says it was beautiful and pretty. Thank you. It is a very nice one. I haven't done one since. been a week, but hopefully I'll be able to get some more done soon enough. Crossing fingers. Lady Dax, she says Easter weekend and the month of May, which I can't believe we are so close to being in the month of May already. Like, I don't know where April has gone. She says they have a lodger coming to stay. Her son's Labrador puppy. Oh my goodness me. That is going to be manic. When you first said a lodger, I'm thinking, oh, that'll be nice for a while. A puppy. You're brave. You're brave. I still am haunted by Luna's puppy days, I think. Some of it I have blocked out of my memory for sanity's sake. But yeah, a lot of it I am... yeah, it's crazy. She says, great fun with 4 cats in the house. Oh my goodness me. Step that manicness up a little bit. Hopefully the puppy will be all right around cats. Luna absolutely despises them. She gets herself in a proper tiz, and if one of them dares to sit on the fence and stare at her, oh my goodness me. She's heartbroken for ages. She says she'll keep me updated on the group. If you're sane enough to post on the group, it can't be going too bad. But yeah, rather you than me. I would not be up for that. Okay, let's do in between this next set of very tall people legs with the multi-placer. Imagine if I was still single placing everything, which I've done for years and years and years, and I enjoy single placing, but I am kind of glad that I got over feeling like multi-placing was cheating, because now I have a hope of actually getting some of my paintings finished a little bit quicker than I otherwise would have done. Liv's Dotting Den, she said she would love some pegboards. She said so she may have a nosy when she goes to IKEA this next week. Oh yeah, if you can fit pegboards into your craft space, like if you have either wall space or back of desk space, because you can get connectors to connect them to a desktop so that they can sit behind your desk. They can also connect to the wall, but also the connectors we actually used in the shop is they now do a connector for hanging it off a wardrobe. So for hanging the pegboards off the side of like a wardrobe. Now, I think they're made for a specific, like there's a screw that comes with it that is for a particular wardrobe, and it like fits into the holes that IKEA already have in that wardrobe, how you connect it. However, we didn't connect them to a wardrobe. We actually connected them to the top of a Besta unit, a thin Besta unit that sits on top of our big Besta units, so that we can move them about more. So we actually connected them to that, and we just used different screws. So we just used screws that would screw into the top of that Besta unit to be able to fit them on, and it holds up great. So if you have a space that's either the side of a unit that you don't mind putting screws into the top of, or a wall, or of course clipping on the back of your desk, I highly recommend getting a pegboard. They are so good. and there's so many different attachments, even just to have your tools handy. I have ones either side of this desk. I have thin ones up on the wall. I have some with trays that holds the likes of my small sticker maker. I've got glue gun up on a little tray shelf up the top, so I use them a little bit like shelves. But then I have my scissors hanging on them. I have a little oh, that's concaved. I have a little pretty display stand that I was sent saying diamond painting in progress. Yeah, I have scissors. The other side I have my bags and book rings hanging. I have my memory cards, I have my rulers hanging, I have a pencil case hanging up, and I have pots for pens of various different types. So yeah, if you can find somewhere to put one, you will find stuff to put on it. That's for sure. She also says, she thinks she will stick to the spare drills in the photo box idea. She says she would get a bit frazzled trying to put her spares back. So yes, I have done a blog post on us setting up our diamond dust drills storage in the shop on pegboards, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. I adore it. However, I do agree it wouldn't necessarily work for spares. It would take a lot of space to be able to spread out the 400 and odd drills, and it would potentially take more work when then putting those drills away, just because of the pegboard system. But having it for, you know, maybe having a space for some well-used diamonds or some enhancement drills on a book ring, so that you can still get them down and give them a go. My ABs used to be stored on my pegboard until I changed them into a photo box. So pegboards do still have their use, just maybe not for the whole 447 drills, but ones that you want to remember to try and use and enhance your paintings and all that sort of stuff. It's worth it for those, even if you put them on book rings first, so you can grab a wad of them down. So that's always good. Right, let's use up, let's try and break these up. Throw that one on the desk. It landed right side up, so we'll just pick it up straight. And that one's broken apart now. Oh, got one more. There we go. Now try and shake all the other ones to lie flat. And I'm just doing all the single ones sort of around. I do have a trash tray here that I do use when I'm sat on my desk doing my painting. But I also have a bin to the right of me that's just easy to just launch them into. And if they fall on my rug, then so be it. They'll get hoovered up eventually. Liv also says, she has the next week off work. Oh, see, look, pot. I've already actually changed 310. I've already gone through the whole pot of 310 already. So it's definitely got colour sort of blockiness going up. So I'm sure I'll be going through a few pots as I do these multi-placing blocks of colour. So yeah, she says she has next week off work. She only had to take like 2 or 3 days off work for it to work out. She says make sure you take your time off, folks. Who work in offices, she says, as it's mentally draining, which that is for sure. You may be sat down all day, but it uses a different type of energy, that's for sure. Especially depending on what field you're in, but it can definitely sap the brain. She says, crossing fingers, she says hopefully she'll be able to reduce a day at work. As she really said, she can't cope with working full time. She said it is making her ill. She said mentally and physically. She says Wednesday is the day she's thinking about to be able to break up her week. Here's hoping, she says, that she can squirrel herself away, she says, and get some whips sorted. That'll be nice. If you can get it all to work out, it sounds like it's something that will work very well for you, to be able to have that sort of midweek day where you can catch up on life. Oh, I managed to pick one up on the side then. Has that actually gone in the right spot? It actually has. I managed to pick one up on the side of my pen. Teach Curl said hello everyone. They said it's been a while since they commented. Life got in the way. They said it took until Thanksgiving last year to catch up on the June waffle. Oh bless, that is busy. That is crazy time. But they've actually staying sort of current now, because we all know life can definitely stop it being current for a short amount of time at times. Exciting news though, they said they have finished Cosmic Trip, which is an amazing painting. I absolutely loved doing that one. So it's 14 months after starting it. They said, to be fair, they did take a 10-month hiatus due to buying a house, which is definitely something that will keep you busy, that's for sure. And deciding to take on an additional job after work, and that's another thing that'll definitely keep you busy. They're a teacher at a tiny school. She says, so they wear many hats. That's a definite. I know that from Megan working in schools. There's constantly different hats placed on teachers' heads. She says she has 6 different subjects from middle school through to high school. She coaches 2 different things. Senior class advisor, so they make sure that they've got everything they need to graduate gets done. So they still love Cosmic Trip as much as they do when they saw me working on it. It's also their 50th finish since they started diamond painting in 2020. Amazing. 2020 did bring a lot of people to the diamond painting craft, that's for sure. They said where they live, the weather has been gross. I know some places in the States had snow this April, which is just frightening. Like not that long ago either. Like, I don't know if it was Easter weekend or if it was just before, but it's like Mother Nature needs to sort out what she's doing. So better than further north of them, but they were supposed to get a couple of inches of snow earlier on in the week. They said it didn't get to freezing here, and it broke 60 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 15 degrees Celsius this week. They said tomorrow is back down to 4 degrees Celsius, 40 degrees Fahrenheit. That is far too cold for April. She says, thank you, Rebecca, for the amazingness that you do. Oh, you are so welcome. I really do hope the weather improves for you, because that is shocking weather. Right, 7 to 6. I have finished my pot. I reckon we don't really have much more than this of this colour further up, because this is all I have for the rest. So I'm going to switch this lid to my empty pot, take off the sticker because I no longer have any diamonds in it, and when I've finished I'll put this sticker back on the front. So I'm going to go for multi-placing again. See if I can pay attention and get some of these smaller bits further up as well, because I was not paying attention as much before. I was too busy reading comments. Okay, and my putty doesn't want to pick up 5 at the moment, so I'll just make sure all my putty is tucked in my pen tip. Queen Bee Rachel, she says, hi Rebecca and Zesties. This was actually left on a Heaven and Earth Design Whip and Waffle, but it was the last comment that I hadn't quite got to when I was reading them on my Heaven and Earth Design. But she says, this is looking really nice. She says she loves seeing the progress on the Heaven and Earth Design every week. She says, thank you for the tip on kitting up outside the sweet shop. She says she'll be using her bottle cases as she has got plenty. They are a bit of a go-to case, are they not? She says she's already pinched her parents' folding table to use instead of her dining table, as her cat loves to be up in her business while she's diamond painting. She says she hopes that we all have a good Easter weekend. Yes, I hope everybody had a fantastic one. Oh, I thought that only had 2. Sometimes I look and I think, oh, it's only 2 diamonds, so I grab 2 and then I realise it's 3 or 4 or... yeah. Obviously, I'm not paying attention enough. Liv, she also says, she says, Nelly, she says, sorry you are having trouble with symbols. She says she recommends a light pad. She says placed on an easel. She says the light pad will illuminate the symbols far better, which is true. There are some canvases that need a light pad all the time. There are some that just need it in certain lights, especially when it's not natural light. But yeah, it's always my first go-to if I'm struggling with symbols, is to put a light pad underneath, even before, you know, I start messing with any overhead type lighting, unless of course it's gone dark and I've not turned the big light on, but you know what I mean. First one, if it's night time, put the big light on. After that, try a light pad. Cat Lady, she says, over this week, she says she's had a sort out of her fabrics. She also says she's bought some more. Oops. Well, if you go somewhere that has fabrics, it's very hard not to. I can see why you do. She says her main peeve at the moment is she still can't find her electric hookup for her sewing machine. Oh dear. She says she is running out of boxes and bags to open in an attempt to find it. She says she's been working on a few Amazon paintings in her that her sister sent her for a craft room. She says one is a knitting one, one's a sewing one, and one's of a cat lady. Love it. She says she's on her last one now. She says she started it this morning, and she says she hopes that I have a nice Easter. Thank you. Well, I hope you found your power cable for your sewing machine. I find it's very, very handy if you do decide you want to sew. Hopefully it is something that's a bit just like a kettle lead that you can potentially get hold of. If not, I can't remember what the connector is, and I think it depends on your machine, but hopefully you can find one and it doesn't cost the earth if it doesn't turn up. Don't forget to also check those little drawers and nooks where you may have put some bits away already, just in case you threw it in there, not quite registering that it was your sewing machine cable. And, you know, put it in that safe place. You know, that safe place we put stuff where it disappears, never to be seen again. Check your safe place. I went hunting for something. What was it? Oh, that was it. I went hunting for a mini tripod thing that just sits on a desk that I was sure as dang it I had in this craft room. I have no idea where it's gone. I don't remember, you know, potentially deciding it wasn't needed and giving it to a charity shop when I did my craft room sort out. I don't remember passing it on to lend it to anyone. Can I find that thing? Nope. Can I heck? I'm actually wondering if I've put it in the shop, thinking it might be better being stored in there. But I've got no idea where it is. Could not find it, and actually ended up pinching a tripod off a laser level to try and do the sort of vlog style video that I have yet to look at the footage and yet to see if it's actually going up on YouTube. But yeah, there are plans to do more, depending on how this has turned out and what sort of tweaks I may or may not need to make. But yeah, it's going to be entertaining. That's a mission for another day, not today. Janice, she says, hi Rebecca and Zesties. She says, as regarding the Diamond Art Club multi-places, she says she saw on AliExpress, she said she saw stainless steel places. She says, but they're for screw-in pens. She says maybe they'll help someone who is on a budget. Yeah, maybe. I do like some of the pen tips you can get for screw-in pens. But I've got so many gorgeous pens that are just the normal pushing ones. I kind of don't want to sort of change what I've already got, if that makes sense. Don't want to start having, you know, pens that can take certain tips and other pens that can only take other tips. I just feel like that's too much for my brain. Okay, all of the multi-placing for this colour's done. So let's get some single placing done. Trudy, she says, Rebecca, she says she's just realised that I remind her of an agony aunt. She says she means that as a compliment. She says you always give great advice, she says, and really try to help. Yeah, I do try to help. I feel as though, I don't know, I feel as though it would be wrong not to when somebody's in, you know, trouble or having a bad day or whatever else. There's got to be some sort of hope or something that they can potentially do that may help. Because, yeah, otherwise you just feel alone. And I don't think anybody should be alone. It's another reason I need like 48 hours in the day so that I can be checking up on everybody more often. Aaliyah and Trudy have had a lovely conversation as well in the comments. But yeah, she says Aaliyah says she really tries to take on the suggestions that I give. She's having a very, very tough time at the moment, is Aaliyah. And yeah, I really hope that some of the things are helping her. And that she can also, you know, seek that outside assistance to get answers and get things a bit straighter and the future looking a lot brighter for her, for sure. Janita, she says, hi Rebecca and Zesties. She says, happy Easter. She says she loves the whip and waffles, she says, and the sewing machine is a cutie. It is. I've got a couple of paint gem frames. I may have to put that one in one of the paint gem frames and put it near my sewing machine. It tends to stay out more than it goes away, so at least maybe it'll look like it's intentional. She says they haven't been out yet. She says to clear away the broken trees, the rest of the broken trees, she says, because they have thunderstorms. She says and more branches have dropped down. She says she hasn't got it in her to tackle it all yet, which I do not blame you. Like, your weather has been horrific. I am not surprised you're not interested in tackling it. Seems like a perfect opportunity to stay at home, stay inside, and maybe pretend it's winter, because it very much seems to me like it is where you are. The weather's just not giving you a break at all. Aaliyah, she's commented, she has said she's not doing well at all. She says new health issue potentially emerging. She said she did put an update on the 15th of April in the group, which I did read that. That is something that I think once you start getting some answers to that, I think it will really help you. Because not knowing is worse than knowing and then being able to put a plan into action. She says GP thinks her cloud 9 feeling is a symptom. She says with a little nudge from Jackie, she says she is redoing all of her diamond painting storage and making it pretty, which I think surrounding yourself with pretty things and with tasks like that help get something in order is always good for your health. Having something that is straight, calm, pretty, acts as it should. I think that's why quite often I feel so much better after I've had, you know, like an organising session. And sometimes when I'm having, you know, quite a few down days, I realise it's because things have got out of order. And it's amazing how having a straightened up space, even if it's not all aspects of your life, but it's some, can definitely have more of a calming effect than you think. She says it's more currently, she says just a box of chaos is what she has. So she says she is properly investing. That will be good for you, I do think, Aaliyah. If you're saying it's a box of chaos, that is one thing on your mind, albeit not on the forefront of your mind, but it will still be in your mind, even if it's not at the front. That is chaos. And you need to eliminate as many aspects of chaos as you can, even if it is, you know, all the small things, straightening things up, you know, because things do nag. Like, I know I need to, along with hubby, need to just go through our wardrobe and just sort out what needs to go. And even if we just pulled out the things that we straight know, no hard decisions, just we already know this, and this can go, I know I will feel so much better once it's done. But I also know that I can function without it done, but it is sort of hanging there. It hangs about in my brain, taking up space that it really doesn't need to. So yeah, maybe that's something that I sort of need to bring a bit more to the forefront. And as I say, when everything's feeling a bit chaotic, it's like having a pot a day. It's getting all those little niggly bits done. Okay, I have finished this colour, potentially in the whole painting. Who knows? There might be a little bit further up. But I definitely don't have any more extras now. So let's have a little reshuffle and grab out the next colour, which is the number 1. And let's see how long these comments, how long it takes for me to read out all the comments. But now we're moving over to 307. So just a subtle difference. We've got some brighter green coming further up. But yeah, oh, look at that. Look at that. Looking beautiful. Kim says she finished her Easter painting on the Saturday of Easter weekend. Oh, I might need to change my putty soon. That's the only thing with lots and lots of multi-placing, is every now and then I need to sort of revamp my putty to get it to behave nicely. She says she considers that a win. She says even though she couldn't hang it up for the season, she says it will be ready for next Easter for sure. And you get to do an Easter painting over Easter as well, which is always nice. Do sort of an Easter craft at Easter time. She says she's already de-kitted it. She says, but she did put her AB diamonds in her container for her diamond dust. Ah, drills. She said, so instead of hunting for Easter eggs, she went hunting for diamonds. She said it's still a work in progress. She says those drills mix together fast, which is true. It is amazing how 2 colours that you think, oh, I can stop that getting mixed up, just, yeah, they just all of a sudden go, oh no, we like mixing, and they just end up all scattered throughout and mixed in together. She says also, she says the older she gets, she says the more she wants to stay home. She says instead of vacationing. She says, what an old fuddy-duddy. Well, I'm an old fuddy-duddy with you. As much as when I am there on a holiday, I enjoy it. The actual getting to the point of going is a bit of a feat, because I do love being at home, and I'm more than happy being at home very often. Yeah, I'm just happy to be in my space doing my thing. I've got lots to keep me busy at home, so that's always a good thing. Doro B. Punked, she says she hopes that I had a great time. She says taking Easter off. I did, thank you. I got a full quilt finish from start to finish, and actually got round to starting a new project too. So I absolutely loved having that long weekend off. And yeah, just being able to down things for a while. I feel like it's been ages since I've been able to quilt, just because some weekends have just been busy with other stuff. So it was nice to just dedicate a whole weekend to it regardless. Just, that's what I was doing. As long as I woke up and felt like doing that. There was no, have to. It was all want to, which is the best kind. My house may not be the cleanest today. It's tidy. It may not be the cleanest because I kind of ignored that as well. But I figured this next weekend will come round soon enough and I can put that to rights then. She says she did a few more sections on her diamond painting and used the time to meet some friends and family. She says, unfortunately, the weather wasn't good. She says, but we did have a good time. Yeah, it rained here mostly Easter weekend, which is another reason it was a good idea for me to just stay in the house and quilt. We did have a nice Sunday. Easter Sunday was nice, but the rest was frankly quite miserable. But we're up for better times soon. Amanda, she says she never used to multi-place. She says because she could never see where to place the diamonds fully. She says when she started using Diamond Art Club multi-places, she says she was able to fully see where she was placing the diamonds. Due to their places being thinner than all the others. That is actually a very good point, and one I didn't think of when that question was asked. But it is quite a bit easier to sort of see where you're placing the diamonds, because you can see the edge of the diamonds as you go to place them down. I do also find the tip of placing vertically. I personally don't. Very, very rarely. I have on occasion given it a go just to see if, you know, it's become any easier to multi-place horizontally, but I very much prefer placing vertically. I just find I can see it loads better and it works loads better for me. So yeah, if you're wanting to give multi-placing a go, then definitely maybe give that a go as well. Carrie, she says she loves seeing a paint gem every once in a while. Yeah, I feel like it's been long enough since I did a paint gem that it was worth fitting one in, because I just didn't have the time to cram in and make sure that I got a video done de-kitting and kitting up in time to then also do a whip and waffle on it. And it's nice to have a painting that I've sort of, sometimes it's nice to have a painting that I've sort of made a start on, so you can see a little bit of progress before I do a Sunday whip and waffle. Okay, I have 2 diamonds that hitchhiked. She says this weekend, she says they went to a hubby's best friend's house to watch WWE. She says WrestleMania. She says it was fun. She says they are big fans. She says today, Monday, she says she had to go to the dentist, she says, for a filling. Now she says she's sitting here finishing watching the video, waiting for a numbness to subside so that she can eat her lunch. Yes, eating lunch with a numb mouth is not entertaining. Definitely makes you feel like a very young baby. She says she's working on selling some of her completed and framed diamond paintings. I feel like I dropped a diamond then. Oh, there it is on its side. To earn some money, she says, to go towards her tattoo. She says she sold one to a friend, and then she's also working on selling some custom wood burnt items, which will be a nice little income as well. She says thank you so much for all your videos. She says they are greatly appreciated. Well, I'm glad you enjoy them. I enjoy doing them. I actually filmed my Heaven and Earth design this morning, and I don't normally film 2 whip and waffles in one day. I mean, sometimes I do, but more often than not, I film them separately. But today I was like, no, I'm still in the mood for chatting. So I went and put some washing out and put another load of washing on, had a quick brew, and then decided to come back in and film some days. Because I'm enjoying myself. Aaliyah says she's watching this while she's doing some colouring on Bank Holiday Monday. Nice to be able to mix up those hobbies. Do what takes your fancy. Colouring can be just as restful as diamond painting. I think that's why it's taken off. Adult colouring has really taken off, or definitely did a few years ago, even more so. It's because of how relaxing it can be. Bev, she says she is all caught up in time for the June waffle, which is amazing. She says she completely missed last year's. She says as life got incredibly busy, she says, so she is really looking forward to it. She says your Paint Gem mini canvas, she says, turned out amazing with all those diamond dust drills. Yes, I love adding the diamond dust drills to paintings. I do find it really, really can enhance it. It's great fun for me. I love it. Considering it took me a while to actually start in adding, you know, enhancement drills, it's really good that they're working so well. Okay, I've got a couple of diamonds that are stuck together, but these ones seem to be a little too stuck, so I'm not fighting because I always get extra diamonds. But I'm just going to tip out a few because I just want to get some of these single ones filled in. I've got quite a few at the top as well, but I kind of want to get some of these filled in so I feel like I've made a bit more progress. Right, battery told me I've been waffling for far too long. Anyway, we've only got a couple more comments, so let's get some single placing finished up. I feel like we've done loads of this painting. Oh, that's concaved. We've done loads of this painting with getting this block of colour done. But I also feel like we've not got much done, probably because we're not like right at the other end yet. But that's the thing when I decide to uncover such a big section all at once. But yeah, I feel like it will make good progress as I go along. Until I reach the top. Blossom Chops, she says, personally, she adds Diamond Art Club multi-placers to increase her total cost of order to reach the free postage. She says, so if she's nearly at the free postage, that's when she picks up Diamond Art Club multi-placers. She says at least that way, she says she feels as though she's getting something for her money. And that's true. If you add one to your order, it can help the cost of the tip not feel as much, because you then don't have to pay shipping as well. So that can definitely be a good way to try one out if you're a bit unsure on the cost. Do I, don't I? Then if you've got an order that is close to free postage but not quite, then get yourself a multi-placer and then you can give it a go and not feel as though you spent as much getting it. Deb, she says, hi Rebecca and Zesties. She says she enjoys listening to the Whip and Waffle. She says she talked about roundabouts, she says, at the end. She says she's never had to drive through one of them yet. Well, first tip, don't drive through, you drive round. But yeah, she's never had to drive one of them yet. She says, and she's been driving for 37 years. See, that is unheard of in the UK, but primarily because roundabouts are everywhere. Like, wait until you experience a UK double roundabout. Yes, you heard that right. A double roundabout. There is literally two next to each other. I think there's somewhere that has even more, but a double roundabout can definitely make you think differently at first. It all makes sense, but you definitely have to use your brain a little bit more than maybe you would normally. But she says they are in the process of putting one in on the highway. She says that she takes to her daughter's house. She says she has to say she is nervous about driving through it the first time. She says she thinks it may be very confusing until she gets used to it. She says, wish me luck. Well, I wish you all the best of luck. They really are not that bad at all. Like, we have quite a few of them. We have loads. They are all over the place. If I was going to, let's say, IKEA. I talk about IKEA enough. IKEA is 5 minutes from my house driving, if that, and I would go through 1, 2, 3, 4 roundabouts to get there. Roundabouts are at every, in effect, junction, what you'd call junction. Every junction for me is a roundabout. And yeah, it does make traffic flow. You know, you give way to your right. For us, because we drive on the right. No, we drive on the left. You give way to the right. I'm even forgetting how we drive. How bad's that? But yeah, you just, you know, it just flows. It ends up flowing. There can occasionally be a little bit of a stalemate if you all pull up to the roundabout at the same time. But because you've all pulled up to the roundabout at the same time and in effect stopped, you tend to figure out when somebody's deciding that they're going first. And it's quite an achievement when you're the one that just decides, yeah, I'm going first. It's like a little brownie point for yourself. But yeah, they make sense. It will be loads easier for you once you've given it a go. Our big frightening roundabout, more so, is one that has like 4 or 5 different lanes going into it, and you need to be in the right lane for getting off. You don't want to be changing lanes in the middle of the roundabout on that one. So yeah, don't let that scare you. Roundabouts are a way of life in the UK, and they are nowhere near as bad as you may think. Okay, I have reached the end of the comments. Yes, just checked, nobody's left one while I have been filming. So I am going to leave that there at that point. I will carry on with my number 1, probably go through a full pot, but I do have a second pot, so I've got plenty more to go. And I think I'm going to do that, sort of doing the full row, probably for all of these sort of sections up until I get to up here. When I get to up here where it gets a lot more bitty, then I will probably go back to doing a couple of each, because I won't feel as though I'm changing colours for no reason. So yeah, we'll have some fast progress for a bit, and then it will slow down a little bit when we get to the interesting house part. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining me, for watching, and for all of your comments. And I will speak to you all again soon.